Government intensifying its water mains replacement program. Veteran broadcaster Bear Charlie Bravo Charlie Walcott laid to rest. And in sports, Zunil Ambrose leads the Windies to victory over Ireland with his first ODI ton.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord, and this is News Night. In our top story, improvements are being made to the island's aging water distribution system, and that's according to the Minister of Energy and Water Resources, Wilfred Abrams. He says work on the mains replacement program is being intensified. Sharika Griffith has more.
Dry taps have become a norm for residents in some rural districts. And according to Minister of Water Resources Wilfred Abrams, Barbados' water scarcity is being compounded by the fact that many of the country's mains are more than 150 years old.
So we have a number of areas in Barbados where the water is leaking like nothing, serious bursts, and we don't know where they are. We know they might be on a 5-kilometer stretch of road, right? But we don't know exactly where. And the only way to fix that would then be to dig up the entire road and dig up all the mains. So what people don't realize is that when we pump water, we're losing almost half the water through leakages and breakages. So if we pump 100 gallons from Bomeston, less than 50 gallons is available for distribution. So that's the problem right there.
Minister Abrams was speaking to the media after touring several districts in St. Joseph affected by water outages. He says the Barbados Water Authority is prepared to offer personal tanks to interested residents at discounted rates. They will also be allowed to pay in installments. Minister Abrams also addressed the concerns of residents in Lamings about the lack of maintenance of community tanks.
We can't drop tanks in an area, don't service them, let them be overgrown, and then expect people to use them. The water you pull in from a tank to take back to your house is water that you intend to use for consumption, not just for flushing the toilet, but for drinking and making food and doing whatever. So you must have some confidence that the water you're getting is of a certain standard. So we have already decided as well that on each tank, we're going to post the time of the last inspection, the last water inspection, and the date for the next water inspection, so people can have some comfort as to when last the tank and the contents were inspected and when the next one is due.
In response to complaints by residents about the times water tankers service the districts, the minister says the BWA is proposing a regulated schedule for tankers. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Meantime, government has received a much-needed financial boost towards improving the country's climate resilience. It comes in the form of a $27.6 million grant from the Green Climate Fund and an additional $17.6 million received as an in-kind contribution. And this was revealed by Minister Abrams during the launch of the Water Sector Resilience Nexus for Sustainability in Barbados project over at the Bomeston Pumping Station.
Under this arm of the project, efforts to improve the resilience of the BWA to storm events will see the installation of a 2-megawatt PV system at the Bell Pumping Station, a 2-megawatt emergency power generating system also at the Bell Pumping Station, a 2-megawatt PV system at the Hampton Pumping Station, an additional 0.5 megawatt system at Bomeston, doubling our current capacity. It is anticipated that these installations will reduce energy expenditures for the BWA by 10% of their present energy costs per year. What is of interest to note is that the Barbados Water Authority is the single largest customer of the Barbados Light and Power. There is no other entity in Barbados that burns, consumes, and pays for as much electricity as the Barbados Water Authority.
And that 5-year project will also involve the installation of potable water systems at the hospital and schools, the procurement of additional water tankers, and the implementation of a rainwater harvesting program at public facilities like community centers. Well, merely 5 days after the island recorded its 23rd homicide, police are investigating another shooting death. Dead is 29-year-old Katani Jamani Emmanuel Calendar, alias Snoop or KK, of Sunnyside Court Deacons Farm in St. Michael. Calendar was reportedly staying with a friend in Ruby Tenantry, St. Philip at the time of his death. He was sitting outside his friend's home around 8:30 last night when several loud explosions were heard. Now, ambulance personnel responded to the call and found no signs of life. Well, Barbados today said farewell to veteran broadcaster Ver Walcott. His tribute-filled funeral service took place at the Abundant Life Assembly this afternoon. Family, friends and loved ones joined past and present members of the media fraternity to say goodbye to Ver Sheldon Walcott, who passed away almost 2 weeks ago. Walcott, who was best known as Charlie Bravo Charlie, one of the first local helicopter traffic reporters in the late 80s and early 90s, worked at both the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation and the Starcom Network. Friend and former colleague Peter Thorne called Mr. Walcott a gentleman who understood the fundamentals of journalism but had a particular passion for business news.
In his career as a journalist, Ver worked with passion, integrity, and energy. As such, he contributed much to the CBC newsroom. He generously gave of his knowledge and skills. Ver was concerned with improvement and was very keen to innovate, as we saw in his pioneering the business report, which had sponsors lining up to get a piece of the action. Ver Sheldon Walcott was the person who was single-handedly responsible for starting the business report on CBC TV8, and he did an excellent job at it.
Mr. Walcott was also remembered as being a man steeped in Christianity. In delivering the address, Reverend Cameron Connolly told the congregation their dearly departed son was in a much better place and was with God. He also reminded them that regardless of the circumstances, God will never leave you nor forsake you.
Every day, the sun shines, but the rain falls. There's not always sunshine. It is not always that all things will go good or everything will go right. In this life, as long as you're in this flesh, you can expect adversity, you can expect adverse situations, you can expect situations that will depress your heart, depress your spirit, depress your soul, want to destroy you. But the hope that Jesus was leaving with his disciples, he said, let not your heart be troubled. If you believe in God, believe in me also.
There, Charlie Bravo Charlie Walcott was interred at the St. James Cemetery. May he rest in peace. Well, judging by the sizable crowd at the second crop over Bejarama last night, Barbadians seem to be getting into the swing of the festival. And according to Member of Parliament for Christchurch South, Ralph Thorne, the turnout has positive implications for the future of crop over. Lorna Jones tells us more.
Locals, tourists, and people of all ages. The crowd at Bejarama at the Dover playing field was a blend of patrons who all share a common bond: the love for crop over and the sweet music that comes with it. This event was the second of 6, and MP for Christchurch South, Ralph Thorne, has described them as an excellent start to the season. He says he's particularly pleased to see children in attendance at Friday's Bejarama.
What is particularly refreshing is the turnout of young children, the presence of young children here tonight. That is a very good sign that crop over has a future in Barbados.
The Christchurch South MP says the event, while providing visitors to the island with a chance to experience local culture, also provided an opportunity for local small businesses to shine.
There's a healthy mix of tourists and locals, and it is an opportunity for tourists to feel the Barbadiana that we present. Dover pasture has been transformed into a marketplace. When I came here tonight, I saw a lot of vendors doing a very healthy trade, and that is pleasing. The mix of music with commerce has made this a very, very, very exciting event.
Patrons also gave the event positive reviews.
Bejarama was very good tonight. I wasn't thinking of coming, but I'm so glad I did. Yes, it was very great. It's a wonderful experience, and all the local talent. It's just wonderful to be here tonight.
Very good atmosphere.
The next Bejorama comes off on May 18th at the Three Houses Park in St. Philip. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
And on to regional news now. In Trinidad and Tobago, a businessman was gunned down while saying prayers in a mosque. The killing of that contractor has left many in shock.
In the holiest month of the Muslim calendar, those attending a central masjid witnessed the most sacrilegious act, that of murder.
It is a disrespect to a point, but just Allah knows, Allah knows best. God knows best.
Businessman Hanif Mohammed was targeted at his place of worship at the Junion Street Masjid. The contractor had just attended Juma and was making his way outside when eyewitnesses saw him run back. One bystander who declined to go on camera told us what happened next.
Two loud noises like steel drop on the ground, right? And then afterwards you come out and realize they shoot somebody. You hear people saying they shoot, but there was no shout or excitement or anything like that. Just that they shoot him and run, they jump in their car and run out.
Eyewitnesses believe he was marked, as one report claims the gunman's firearm fell in the process, but it was quickly recovered to execute Mohammed.